Yeah, the US economy is in deep freeze, and we're getting a better idea now of just how deep that chill is going. Figures for retail sales yesterday, published in the United States, showed the biggest slump since the index was created almost 30 years ago, down 9%, 8.7% in March. Clothing sales down by 50%, significant drops in other areas as well, as more people have been staying home and thus not spending money, which is a key driver of the economy. Industrial production, meanwhile, dropped or saw its steepest drop in 70 years. So we're getting an idea of how much the shutdown is affecting the US economy. The Fed's beige book, which is their survey of business sentiment in the American economy, shows that business owners expect the situation to get worse in the short term, and there will be more job losses. And that's adding to 3 really terrible weeks we've had in terms of jobless claims in the United States. And we're going to get the update on that later. To give you an example of the past 3 weeks, 6.6 million people added to the unemployment register last week, 6.9 million the previous week, and 3.3 million the week before that. This number today could be, again, in the high millions of people who've lost their jobs as we see the shutdown, which started in mid-March, take further effect on the jobs market. Some economists say the US unemployment rate in the world's #1 economy could go as high as 20%.
Now, in the meantime, the IMF is saying the pandemic is going to mean a serious hit to economies in the Asia-Pacific. What more can you tell us?
That's going to see the lowest growth in 60 years in that region. The IMF says there will be 0 growth across the Asia-Pacific region in 2020. That's worse than the slump we saw during the financial crisis or the Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s. Now, there's 2 main reasons for that. One is the world economy is in recession. The IMF says it'll be a 3% contraction this year, and that means there's less of a market in those big economies like the United States for exports that come out of Asian economies. And also the other factor here is that China has been badly affected. In previous crises, China has managed to maintain its level of growth, but this time around, the IMF says China's growth is going to fall to 1.2% this year. That's down from 6% last year. Huge falls too in the world's #3 economy. Japan is going to shrink by 5.2% this year, the IMF says. Australia seeing its first recession in almost 30 years, with the shrinking in the economy there of 6.7%. And even in South Korea, where the containment measures have been largely praised, the hit to the economy is still going to be a shrink of 1.2%. Now, the IMF says, as we've heard so many times, is that while the situation this year looks bad, it could improve next year if the virus is contained. The public health emergency, really, until that's under control, we won't know the extent of the economic damage.
Stephen Carroll, thank you. Here in France, a